Senna.
Pals.
So I have a question, and I have been wondering this for the longest time. It's been on my mind for quite a while. When is Kung Fu Panda gonna come to 4K Blu-ray? And I understand that this only applies to maybe me and 10 other people who actually own physical media still. But I wanna know, when is it gonna hit shelves? When is it gonna become available to be part of my library of 4K Blu-rays? I promise you, as soon as it hits shelves, I'm gonna wait for it to come down in price, you know, maybe a Black Friday special, and then I'll pick it up. What is going on, everybody? I'm Jabby Kaway. They just dropped the new trailer for Kung Fu Panda 4, and I am very excited to jump into it with you guys. I mentioned this just the other day with the Furiosa trailer. I love that movie. It's one of those things I can put on any time. Well, particularly the first one. The second and third one are good, but the first one is just like, you know, nothing has touched the heights of that quite yet. But it's never too late. We got Kung Fu Panda 4 here. So if you guys haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up. Let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Here we go.
It is time to take the next step on your journey.
I'm not going to be the Dragon Warrior anymore?
You will advance to spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace.
Inner peace. Inner peace.
Keep your surf off my turf!
Dinner, please. Dinner with ease. In a sesame soy glaze. This is not working at all.
Tai Lung, big fan. Once I possess the kung fu of every master villain.
What?
No one will dare question my power.
Not even the great Dragon Warrior.
What?
The most powerful shape-shifting sorceress, the Chameleon.
How do I find this, the Chameleon?
I'm gonna lead you right to her front door.
It was against an army.
Then we'll just have to get an army of our own.
What is this place?
The best crooks and criminals live here.
You're a wanted criminal?
You sound surprised. Is it surprising?
She's just hanging out by the posters.
Fireworks.
Violence makes our tummies tingle.
Why should we help you?
We can take down the Chameleon together. Being the Dragon Warrior, it's who I am. Skadoosh.
Skadoosh.
About being a spiritual leader.
What is it you're holding?
A cookie?
You were chosen to become something more than you already are.
Way to ruin the moment.
How should we do this? Quick and painless? Or slow and painful?
Slow and painful.
You finally met your match, Chameleon.
We're not so different, you and I.
Skadoosh. Stand back. I'm gonna kick my butt.
Ew. Oh no! One of the remarkable things about Kung Fu Panda is they keep finding ways to keep it fresh. I think it's a challenge. It's very, very difficult to, like, how do you tell this story again? How do you find a way to keep Po's journey going in a way that is engaging and interesting, not just for little kids, but for grown-ups as well? Because I feel like it's one of those movies that also appeals to grown-ups. At least it does for me. I watched it as a grown-up and I fell in love with it instantly. He reached Neo mode at the end of the first film, right? I don't have to dodge bullets anymore. Ka-chow! And then the bullets stop. Yeah, he reached Neo mode at the end of the first movie, and then I've only watched Kung Fu Panda 2 and 3 once, and so I don't fully remember those movies, but I remember with the third one, the new challenge was finding out Po's backstory, you know, who his family is, how he ended up coming into possession of his stepfather. Then you're finding like an emotional journey. So here, this is like the ultimate bad guy. He's the bad guy to end all bad guys. I don't know how you can go any higher than this. This person is absorbing the powers of all the villains, including his first nemesis, which is really cool because, like, even though he took him out, it's like, I think it's still frightening in some way to have to deal with the first opponent you ever had, the first real opponent you ever had. Again, not only that, but it's that person's leveled up in a fierce Shang Tsung kind of way. My hope is that with this bad guy absorbing all these different powers and whatnot, they find a way to do some fun, creative fight scenes that speak to whatever powers this person has absorbed. Presumably, they're not just absorbing the powers of people that Poe has fought, but they're absorbing powers of a whole bunch of people, right? With that, you have the opportunity for the villain to keep challenging Poe, unless it's just going to be Poe versus Poe, essentially. But you have the opportunity to keep challenging Poe and throw these different styles at him, and that can make for interesting choreography. I understand that it's an animation, and at the end of the day, the goal is fun. It's not necessarily to have the best fight scenes ever. I recognize that. But I think that Kung Fu Panda, the first one at the very least, had some really cool fight scenes. And so my hope is that they kind of honor that, and they do that here. Keeping in the style of fun and goofy and like, just, kind of chaotic a little bit, with Poe and his nature. I still think that there's cool opportunity there to do some fun stuff with the punches and the kicks and the hi-yas. It's also neat how they're trying to find a new place to take Poe in terms of his own personal journey, right? It's not just dealing with a bad guy, but he has a personal thing he's got to deal with, which is like an ascension to a new level to allow someone else to be the Dragon Warrior. That is not something I expected to see in a kid's cartoon. Something like that is not something I feel like we've seen, at least in Western cinema animation, where, okay, you have to pass on the throne. You have to pass on the mantle to someone else. Oftentimes, the stories we're watching is someone ascending to that mantle, and that's about it. And then like kind of like maintaining that mantle and doing what that person has to do while holding that mantle. But passing it on is not something we've seen. And so that's actually pretty cool that this story has gone this far that they can explore something like that, passing on responsibility and taking on a new responsibility. Speaking of being responsible, please, DreamWorks 4K Blu-ray, I would love to own it. Please, that would be wonderful. I got myself a Universal Studios annual pass. I don't know what else I got to do to convince you that this is important to me. We got Ke Huy Quan in there. I could hear his voice. I knew Awkwafina was going to be in here. I noticed there was an announcement for this just the other day, and I didn't think a trailer was going to come so soon. I was very surprised to see that it dropped. Some of the familiar faces, or rather the familiar voices, aren't back from the original team. Bryan Cranston is back, who played Poe's biological dad. I'm looking at the IMDb right now. We got Ke Huy Quan as Han, Bryan Cranston back as Poe's father, Jack Black, of course, as Poe. Awkwafina is the fun character that is part of Poe's adventure this time around. Jackie Chan as the monkey. Viola Davis as Chameleon. Oh my gosh, Viola Davis! What a great talent to add to this cast. Ian McShane as Tai Lung. So Ian McShane, for those of you who are not familiar, is the guy who is basically like Keanu Reeves' good friend in John Wick. And Dustin Hoffman, of course, is Shifu, and James Hong is Mr. Ping. You had the noodle dream! All right, you guys, thanks so much for hanging. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up. I'm Jabby Kuwei. Peace out.